Hello everybody, it's Harry Boxley, technical trader at the techtrader.com. These are the charts of the day. It is, let's see, it's Tuesday night, July the 30th, and the market's getting a little choppy and sloppy in here, and then we're seeing mixed pictures, but I've been focused on some of the winners, and let's take a look at some of the stocks that are either acting well or setting up potentially for more upside. Swing trade CLDX, after the big run up in the end of June, beginning of July, you will see it now for 3 weeks. It's been consolidating bullishly while holding support near the 19 and a quarter range. If we do get a thrust here, I'm looking for a quick move to get it up towards 24 and a half, 25. That's me at the top of the channel, my next scalp target. And I do think we're going to get that, but it may do a lot further if it starts to accelerate. CSIQ, a member of the very strong solar energy group, in particular, 3 solar stocks we like when we look at it today. This stock had popped in mid-July, and for the last 2 weeks it's been consolidating. Today it popped 43 cents or 3.16%. The volume wasn't quite as strong as I'd like to see, so hasn't quite broken out yet. What we're looking for is a move through the 14, 40, 50 zone, which should take us to test the 17.5 area. That's my initial target, with an intermediate target, if the angle of ascent is correct, something up around the 24 range. CZR, I'm watching this for setup. Today it popped $1.27 or 8%. The volume was over 1.1 million. But you can see the big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move up until March. It then went into a multi-month consolidation zone with a 1, 2, 3, 4 wave move to the 5th wave, a little truncated 5th. And maybe we get a move, and we're watching this stock get over 17.5 for a thrust to the low 20s, 21, 22. Beyond that, we'll see. But for now, I'm looking for a move that takes out that line and sets us up for a nice thrust. Facebook's been phenomenal. I wanted to show you how it continued after the huge gap, game changer day with big earnings and strong metrics. The stock backed off and held, and then for 2 days in a row has spiked. Today up $1.220, 6.2%, 173 million shares. It certainly looks like my short-term target, about 38, 39, will be tagged at reached 37.96, just 4 cents from the underpinnings of that target zone. Maybe we get a little follow through tomorrow. Generac, GNRC. Big day today as it ran across a big resistance zone, the consolidation zone, excuse me. You can see back in November when we had the Hurricane Sandy and it exploded because they make generators. The stock then pulled back, made a new high, backed off, tested, retested the high, couldn't get through, pulled back to test one more time, ran up one more time to test, consolidated right at that level there, and today popped. Today was a key day for it technically. I think the stock looks like it's headed for mid-channel at least. That would put it up around 46.7 range, but ultimately this may run into the mid-50s. Big day for Goodyear Tire and Rubber. I like the way GT's acting here. Take a look at the pop today at a breakaway gap after it broke out here and pulled back to test. Today it popped $1.52. That's almost 9%. 1,437,000 traded in. So I'm sorry, 14.4 million traded. Should have seen that. And now that maybe the angle of ascent is accelerating, or beginning to. I'm going to draw lines across here to show you what could be a parallel channel angle, which could take me up towards the 21 range, my short-term target. Especially now that it's moved across key long-term resistance, taking out, you can see this line that's been in play for years. At this point, I'm looking for a move up towards 29 with a short-term move to 23. So 23 and 29 possible targets for GT. GTAT, a former swing trade of ours, which then, after running up, rolled over and tested the May lows and the bottom of the trend channel, moved up, flagged above the moving averages, spiked up to resistance, pulled back again, and then you can see now this looks like it may be headed for 6. INO with a significant day today. Long base pattern, surge, pullback test, explosive move to resistance, formed a wedge, popped out and flagged for 3 days, and then today blew out 42 cents or 29% on 15 million shares. That's the second biggest volume on an up day in a long time. And at this point, if this is the angle of ascent, and it very well could be, it's a very sharp angle. And I'm going to draw a line in here to give you a parallel channel, rising channel, It could get this baby all the way up to 240.50 short term. Questcore, over the last few months, ever since the debacle in October, November, when it got crushed, the stock had worked its way back. Orderly retrace, orderly falling wedge, pop, breakaway gap, and now nice, beautiful, orderly 6-7 week consolidation with the breakout 2 days ago, the pullback today, and an inside day. But after hours, very positive news. The stock's up about 7 or 8 points and should open tomorrow near 58. We'll see if we get a price volume surge that gets us all the way up towards the 58.9 zone, and then beyond that, long term. Here's your weekly chart. You can see how beautiful the stock has been in the last few years, which tells me we could see a stock in the 65 range, and then even 75 or 80, all the way up to over 100, 120 would be a long-term possibility in the stock. QSII, love the way this stock looks. Major base to breakout here on a breakaway gap and a runaway day. Pull back down and a 1, 2, 3 wave corrective move. From the falling channel that broke out today with a pop of 59 cents, almost 2.7%, 3/4 of a million traded. Now, what I'm looking for is to see whether or not it can get up, test, and take out 23.3840, which should lead to higher levels. On my longer term chart, I'm looking for an intermediate move to 28, short-term move to 25. Bank rate, another big day for this one. You can see the multiple lines of resistance. Key resistance was taken out around the 16.75 range today with a pop of 271 or 17% on 3.9 million, the biggest volume on an update since way back in 2011. So significant day for it, significant breakout day. Although it did back off secondary resistance, I'm looking for it eventually to get up towards 23. One of my favorite solars is SPWR, and you can see why. We had it here, here, and again here. And the stock at this point, after consolidating for 2 weeks, popped today, $1.94, 7.4%, and 5.4 million traded, the biggest volume in about 8 sessions. I'm looking for 30, 233 on this stock. Stereo taxes, probably the biggest, well, definitely the biggest winner on Wall Street today, as they got FDA approval for their device. The stock opened at like 280 and jumped to 690 before finishing at 585, up a whopping 228% on 15.3 million. Unheard of volume for the stock. This kind of price volume surge often leads to much higher levels. I would look for a pullback opportunity, but we may get up as high as 9.5 on this move. SUNE, another one of my favorite solars. I think that the accelerated channel, which calls for a move towards 13.5, 14, may be had, and that's what I'm looking for as a potential swing on SUNE. Vanda, VNDA, big breakaway gap. Now take a look at the prior explosive move. We caught it here about the 7.25 range for a swing up to the 11 range, and we got that and more as it reached 13.19 before pulling back sharply. It then bounced around from the big wedge. Today, a big breakaway gap, jumping 356 or 44% on 8.3 million shares, by far the biggest volume I've seen in this stock. I'm looking for a run up to retest the highs around 13, 13.25, short term, intermediate target 17.5. And lastly is YRCW, which may be setting up for yet another move. As you know, this stock had a long line base pattern with big breakaway gap in May, and then formed a little perfect bull pennant and exploded, forming a larger wedge. That ran up sharply to get to the 37 range, and then over the last 3 weeks has a very orderly retrace pullback. Now today it popped 84 cents or 3% on 431,000, not big volume for that stock, but watch this line, because in the scope of things, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 wave move, and if we get a 5th wave, wouldn't shock me to see this in the 40s. So stay tuned, folks, on YRCW. Could be a monster. We'll see what happens. And that's it for tonight. Good luck trading, everybody, tomorrow. Bye-bye.